Today I'm sharing the actual household budget for a couple making $100,000 living in Dallas, Texas area. Hey guys, I'm Marissa and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing another budget breakdown video, sharing an actual household budget that has been submitted to me from a follower, from you guys, and I've been so grateful for these. It's been really fun to take a look at how other people are spending their money, and I know other people are interested to see that as well. If you want to share your household budget and have it possibly be shared on my channel, I will go ahead and leave a link to a form down below and you can fill that out and submit your household budget. I share it all very anonymously. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the actual household budget for this couple who submitted their budget to me. And then this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I will be sharing what I would do if it were me. So let's give some context to the situation for this family. So they live in North Texas, Dallas area is what they've shared, and they make $100,000 annually. So this is their gross income, like before taxes and everything. Then they also are living that dual income, no kids life, just a husband and wife. And she works in nonprofit development and he is a musician, but she is also working on starting an event planning business, which is awesome. They do have some really great financial goals that they're working on right now, which includes paying off their student loans, funding their emergency fund, and then getting retirement contributions up to 15% of their gross household income, all while saving for travel and doing house updates because they recently bought a house for themselves. So before we take a look at this budget, I want to let you guys know that I actually have a course called the Budget Breakdown course, which walks you through everything you need to know about budgeting. So if you want to get started with budgeting or you're new to it and you're feeling overwhelmed or confused, this is definitely the course for you, and it'll walk you through how you can enjoy life while still accomplishing your financial goals through the use of a budget. So I will leave a link to that course down in the description box below and you can check it out there. And the budget template that I am using is also included as a freebie in that course, so you can get that there. So let's take a look at this household budget. The first thing that we have here is their income. So this is their household income for the two of them together is $6,755 each month. So this is their take-home pay. So this is after taxes and any sort of deductions and things like that. They didn't mention any sort of notable deductions that they have going on. So $6,755 is basically after taxes for their income. So their total income, $6,755. And now we use the zero-based budget, which is how I have this set up. And so all of our income equals all of our money out, all of our expenses, debt, and savings. So now to share with you how they are planning to spend and save every dollar in their budget. The first thing that they have here is their mortgage, and their mortgage is $1,200 a month, which is so low. It's awesome. Look, it's only 17.76% of their overall income. And I like to try to keep this number between like 25 to 30% of that take-home pay. So they are well below that, and therefore they're able to have more room in their budget to do other things with their finances. So this is a really great mortgage payment that they have. Next, they have water, garbage, and sewer at $94, and then internet at $70 each month. Electric is at $24 for the month, and then their phones are at $44, and they have natural gas at $75. I feel like their utilities are pretty low there. Next they have is car insurance at $154 each month, and then groceries at $400 for the two of them. And I feel like that's very reasonable for two people. This budget was actually submitted a little bit ago, and so I don't know if this is maybe changed for them due to the inflation increases that we've seen. I know our grocery budget has changed, but $400 maybe even like 6 months ago for two people is a really great budget, I think. Next we have is gas, and we have that at $80 each month for gas for their cars, which is pretty low. And then eating out at $180, which I feel like is really reasonable. Next we have is miscellaneous at $100. I think it's so important to have a miscellaneous category because there's always something random that'll come up during the month, so it's great to have a place to put it, and love that they're budgeting for this. Next they have is health insurance. They're paying $161 each month for health insurance premiums. And then his allowance and her allowance, they each get $100 of personal spending money each month. Then her business, like I said, she's starting an event planning business, so she has a little bit of business expenses that she's getting it off the ground. So she's paying $20 each month in business expenses. And then they have additional subscriptions for $70 each month for miscellaneous subscriptions. I would say that's kind of a lot of subscriptions, but we live in a world right now where there are just a lot of subscriptions. So I hope that they're utilizing all of those subscriptions that they have in their budget. If they're not using them, cut it out, get rid of it. Okay, so their total expenses are $2,872. So next, let's look into the debt section. So I wanted to talk about this for a bit because I love what they've been doing with their student loan debt here. So the balance of their student loan is $12,887. But as you guys know, for the last 2 years, student loans have been on pause. So no interest has been accruing and people haven't been having to make any sort of payments. They show that their student loan minimum payment right now is $222 each month, but they aren't paying that because it's not due right now. And instead they are just setting aside a whole bunch of money to then pay off their student loan when the time is right. And I love this strategy because no payments are due, no interest is accruing, and in the last 2 years, it's been a crazy time in life, right? And I know that in the last 2 years, a lot of people have beefed up their savings because of living in this really crazy, unexpected time. And during seasons like that, it is nice to have extra cash on hand. So I love that during this time, they've just been stockpiling cash, keeping cash like in their bank account, knowing that it's for the purpose of they want to pay off their student loan, but they have extra cash on hand if they were to need it for any sort of additional emergency purpose or something like that. So I love that they've been doing this, of still being intentional about setting aside money to pay off the student loan, but they aren't actually making payments because it's not accruing any sort of interest and no payment is due right now. And you'll see more of that down in the savings section when we get there. But right now they have $12,887 on that student loan, and they want to get that paid off, which I also recognize is a goal that they have, which I think is great. Again, it would be different if they were just like, okay, well, I won't worry about the student loan at all. But the fact that they're like really mindful of that and they're wanting to pay off the student loan, I think is awesome. Next, we'll look at the savings section of the budget, or like the sinking funds area. So they have their emergency fund at $5,500 right now. So they're putting $100 each month into that emergency fund. And then they have this student loan holding fund. And this is where, like I mentioned, they're putting like every extra dollar right now to that student loan fund so that they can have like the whole balance saved off so then they can pay off that student loan. This month they were able to put hypothetically $25.13 to that student loan fund and set that aside for the purpose of eventually paying off that student loan. So they started the month with $6,969. And then also, I guess I didn't show this in the template, but when you enter this in the actuals, then it will update the ending balance. So then they would have, after another month, they would have $9,482. So with that, they're going to be so close to paying off the student loan just within a couple months if they haven't paid it off already. So they're working on setting that aside, and I think that's a really great fund to have, like I shared. Next, they have investments. They're putting $150 each month into different kinds of investments. And then they have $500 a month going towards house maintenance. They also shared with me their beginning balances for all of these funds. So that's where I got all of that information. But $500 a month towards house maintenance is great. I know they said that they are recent home buyers, so you have a lot more house expenses in the beginning if you're doing painting or maybe renovating an area of your house or something like that, furnishing it. So I think it's great that they're setting aside more money for that, and like I shared, that is one of their goals. They also have travel here at $300 a month, and that was another thing that they wanted to be able to do with their budget. So I love that they're including this $300 to go towards vacation and traveling. They also have a gifts line item, so they're putting $50 a month into gifts, which is great to have, and we have that in our budget as well. And then Christmas, they're setting aside $20 each month for Christmas, which is great to save for that all year round. And then health, they have at $100, important. And then auto, so this is like car maintenance kinds of things, I suppose, is $150 each month. So their total savings is $3,883, and so their total out is $6,755, which matches their income. And we have this cell down here that calculates the difference between the two, and obviously that is 0, and that is the whole goal with budgeting. You want to get to that 0 base budget of all the income equaling all of the money that goes out. So right now they're putting every extra dollar to that student loan holding fund, which is awesome. All right, so now let's talk about what I would do differently if this were my budget. And like I shared, we went through this, and I think that this couple is doing an amazing job overall with their finances. They have some really great goals here of wanting to pay off those student loans. Looks like they're going to be done with that in a couple months. And personal finance is so personal. They could choose to either wait till, it's closer to May. So I know that student loan payments are coming due soon as of right now. It's still supposed to come up in May. So they're probably getting ready to pay off that student loan because they have that money set aside almost here. So that is a great goal and something that I would totally do if that were my situation as well. And then they want to beef up their emergency fund, which I think is another wonderful goal and something that I would want to do next. This is kind of the order that we actually did things of. We had a little bit of an emergency fund like they do, and then we worked on paying off all of our student loans. Then we went back to our emergency fund and built it out to be more like 6 months of expenses. And so once they have all of that debt removed, like the $2,500 each month going towards their student loan, then they could put that towards the emergency fund and have that finished really quickly as well. The only other thing that I would add, besides the awesome things that they're doing and the goals that they have, is to maybe look into seeing if they have any retirement contribution options available to them. I noticed that they didn't mention anything about an employer 401k. So if they do have a 401k, or she's a nonprofit, so a 403b or some sort of retirement account, maybe looking into that. If it were me, I would look into that and see what the options are and begin investing. And again, not a financial advisor, not financial advice, but when we were working on paying off debt, we still put into our 401ks what we needed to at least get the employer match, because that was free money on the table. So I would definitely be putting money into the 401k to at least get that employer match. And then once we were debt free, we did increase our retirement contributions, and we now try to do around like 15 to 20. We're trying to do like 20% into retirement this year. And that's obviously like grown over time, and you have to start somewhere. So if it were me, I would definitely look to see what other investment options were out there of how I could start that, because when you're younger, you have time and compound interest on your side, and I think that that is a huge advantage. So I think that is the only thing, like if it were me, the only thing I would look into to see about doing differently. But this couple has done an amazing job with their finances. They are working on crushing these goals, and I'm really excited to see where they're going to go with their budgeting and with their life, because they are working so hard on these goals. So leave them a comment down below. Let them know what an amazing job they're doing. And also, if you want to share your budget and have it possibly be shared on my YouTube channel, I will leave a link to that form in the description box. And thank you so much to this couple who shared their budget with us today. And don't forget, if you want to check out my budget breakdown course, it walks you through everything you need to know about budgeting, how to set up your budget and use it to be able to accomplish your financial goals while still enjoying life. So you can check that out with the link in the description box as well. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.